Hello guys, today what we will be doing is deploying Zend Framework 2 applications to AppFog. Somebody could say it's not such a big deal, but we'll see that it is a big deal actually to deploy the application to AppFog because the document root is in folder public. It should be in folder public, but in AppFog actually the document root points the root of our application. But let me show you that, and as usual I'm starting from scratch. So we have one application in github.com. I hope that you watched some of my previous videos to see how the application has been created. If not, please go ahead and watch it. Codenvy, which plays the role of my IDE, cloud-based cloud IDE, PHP Cloud, which is supposed to be my development server, but it turns out to be only startup development server, and AppFog, which is our deployment server, where the user should go and see our application. But it turns out that I'm using it mostly as a development server because working with PHP Cloud right now it's very tedious and a very slow job using Git. And in AppFog actually I can deploy with a push of a button from Codenvy. So this was just to help you to recall what we have done. Let me move that and show you in the mind map where the election is in this tree. Zend Framework, easy, simple, fast, application fog. So what we will be doing is preparing our application to work not only on PHP Cloud but on AppFog as well. So we have two servers, our development server and our deployment server. Okay, so let's start first by signing in GitHub. Okay. I prefer to show you everything in real time. So here we go. This is our application, FMI. So if you have one application somewhere in Bitbucket or GitHub, you can follow the steps as well. You can clone the application in Codenvy and after that push it to your deployment server. Okay, I already have taken this application to Codenvy where I can edit the files and do whatever I like. Okay, Codenvy. You can do it together with me, probably. Real time. And I'm gonna log into my development server, which I don't really need right now, but I want to show you how the application looks on our development server and how I want to look on our deployment server as well. Okay. It's a little bit slow when you watch it, but when I do it real time, I prefer this because I can follow the guy who is delivering the presentation or the tutorial. I can do it together with him, and also sometimes I'm making even mistakes which you can avoid later. By the way, when for first time you log into AppFog to PHP Cloud and Codenvy, it takes a little bit longer. I just have been there already. I just logged out before I started the application, so that's why it loads so fast. Login in AppFog, but be a little bit more patient. I think it's worth it. The fact that we are working entirely in the cloud, so we don't have to carry around the USB sticks, computers whatsoever. We can work on our applications from somebody else's computer. Just a second, this one is long. So I hope you can follow me when I do this. So those are the ingredients for our meal. Uh, okay, for our cooking show for programmers. Okay, again, let me repeat again. GitHub, whoops, is our public repository. Codenvy is our IDE, Cloud IDE. AppFog is our development, not AppFog, but PHP Cloud is our development server. Here it is, our application. And AppFog is our deployment server. The problem now is that we don't see whatever we see on our development server. So let me show you that. Here it is, my project. Let me zoom it. Right. Now let me check if everything has been committed already. On branch master, nothing to commit. Let me do git push just for any case to Zend, my development server, to make sure I have the latest version. This is my application in AppFog, in PHP Cloud. Okay, already up to date, as you can see here. So let's see how the application looks. FMI, loading, loading, loading. Here we go. This is my application. And this is exactly what I want to see when I run my application. This is on my development server, so-called development server. Of course, AppFog also can play the role of the development server, and this is lately what I'm doing, actually, because it takes much less time and I don't have unwanted commits to my Git repository. Otherwise, each time I do changes, I have to do git add, git commit, git push to my PHP Cloud, my development server. Another good news is, ta-da, this button here. 1 week ago, or maybe 10 days ago, that means by the end of April, somewhere around 27, 28 of April 2013, Codenvy added a web server to their integrated development environment, so you can say run. And I will show you what happens. So you have already a development server integrated into the IDE, which means that you don't need any more development server. But you'll see that it's not quite true yet. Okay, so let's say you have cloned, for example, from Git, you can clone one repository here. You made it, you turned this clone into a project in Codenvy, and after that you want to deploy this project to AppFog. I just show it to you how it looks on my development server, and this is exactly what I expect to see when I go to my application here in the AppFog. Let me click here. Actually, this is not going to open the application, it's going to open the properties of the application of the AppFog. It's not going to wait for that. I can see how my application looks from Codenvy. So projects, pass. As I said, if you don't know how to do it, how to start a new Zend Framework 2 application, or how to get a Zend Framework 2 application in Codenvy, please watch my previous tutorials, which you can find in a playlist in YouTube. So AppFog. Let's see how our application looks in AppFog. This is the URL of my application. Ha! Hello world. This is not what I expected. This is what I expected. So let's look at them next to each other. Hello world and Zend skeleton application. This is what I want. This is what I get. Why is that? It's quite simple. The web root directory of the server, of the Apache server, or whatever server, it's pointing to different folder. In the PHP Cloud, web root is pointing public, where the entry point of my application is. The entry point of Zend Framework 2 application is the file index.php into the folder public in the root of your project. Look at this. So I want to start this. When I type the URL, I want to be redirected to public index.php, and as I said, in PHP Cloud this is automatically done. The server is pointing to this file in the folder public, but this is not the case for AppFog. What the AppFog actually does, it's serving all the root of my application. In other words, if here I have index.html file, this is the file, or index.php file, this is the file which is gonna be accessed. Okay, so let me show you. Index.html file, index.php file. Here we go. This is what I see. This is in AppFog. The document root of the server is pointing, as I said, to the root of my application instead of the public folder in my application. Okay, how are we gonna correct that? Using a .htaccess files. Using these magical files, we already have one here by default, given to us by Codenvy. By using these magical files, actually, we can achieve our goal. We can reroute all the requests to public index PHP. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do that. So, root. This is how our htaccess should look like in the root. And after that, we will break our htaccess files. We will break our application working in our development server. We will see that because I have added the htaccess files to the gitignore file, but will it respect it? See, htaccess. I don't think so. Let me show you the invisible files, show hidden files. Actually will respect it, because see, you don't have already here htaccess file. The trick with Git is that if you add something to gitignore and this file already is tracking by Git, Git will actually ignore the gitignore. Is not gonna do anything. Will keep tracking the file and the changes. I don't want to change the htaccess file here in my development server. What I want to do is just create one .htaccess file here, which never will be added to Git. Okay, so in order to do that, first I have removed my .htaccess file from this folder, public folder, and after that I have added this file to my gitignore. Now, after adding, committing, and pushing, when I create htaccess file, this htaccess file is not going to be tracked anymore by Git. This is very, very important. So hopefully you understand. I will repeat this probably again later following my branches here. So first things first, let's create the htaccess files in the root of my project, in the public folder, and all other folders. So how my htaccess looks in my root folder of my application. I'm in public right now, so I'm gonna close this. And if you want to see the invisible files, because for Unix and Linux, the files which start with dot are invisible, just go and choose show hidden files from here, from the menu, to see them. Okay, htaccess file. Here it is, the htaccess file, the way Codenvy offers to me. I'm going to replace this with this statement, with this spell, which I found in internet and also by reading Apache documentation. So this is Apache solution, actually. If you go ahead and read Apache, you'll understand these spells. But I'm giving this to you so you can use it. Okay, so the first things first, in the root I have created htaccess file. Now in the public, for the htaccess file in the root, I don't care if it's added to repository or not, if it get pushed to PHP Cloud, because as I said, the web root it's pointing public, and the Apache on the PHP Cloud doesn't care about this file, but it cares a lot about the htaccess file, which is in the public folder. Actually, this htaccess file is so important for Zend Framework 2 because it allows us to rewrite the URLs, to use the mode rewrite, okay, to create the human readable URLs, which we know very well. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new, that's not even a PHP file, I'm gonna create a new text file, and I'm gonna call it htaccess. And as I said, this file is not gonna get pushed to Git. Even if you go to GitHub repository, you won't find this file there. It's ignored. I don't want this file to be pushed left and right. I want this file to stay only here in the Codenvy and eventually get pushed only to AppFog. Not eventually, it's gonna get pushed. Okay, now let me take the content for the public htaccess file. Okay, in Codenvy, paste. That's it, and after that I just will deploy the application to AppFog and see if the magic is done. Okay, that's it. Let's see now. Pass AppFog, and I'm gonna say update. I want these two htaccess files to get pushed to AppFog, and after that I again will click the link to see if the entry point of my application has been changed. And I see actually it's not gonna be changed, but if the web server actually properly points to the entry point of my application, all the requests get rerouted to public index PHP. Okay, loading data, updating, come on. And after that we will continue with the next things, which will allow us actually to run our applications, Zend Framework 2 applications on AppFog. Come on. Okay, the only downside I see here in the cloud development so far is the things are happening very slow. But today when I saw errors in my portable flash drive, I realized, and actually I appreciate the fact that I'm not carrying around any flash drives and anything with me, even not a computer. I can work on my application from every point in the world, from every computer, Macintosh, PC, I don't care. All I care is just to have a web browser, that's it. And I think that's a priceless, especially for a nomad like me. Okay, so loading data, loading data. Probably I should stop the recording and start it again when that's done. But as I said, I prefer to keep everything real time. I don't make cuts on my movies. Okay, so has been pushed. So let's see how the application looks. Server error. Okay, internal server error. Let's see if I forgot something. Vendor, all other folders. Codenvy. Probably the connections to the server. I was expected, even without any connections to the server, the application to work. But let me pause, check, and we'll continue this tutorial. Okay, so we have an error, and no wonder. What is missing is the Zend Framework 2 library, of course. So I just have to follow my branches here in the tree to get it working. Okay, we saw that there is an error. Still, we are not ready to run our application. In the PHP Cloud, the Zend Framework library actually framework gets installed automatically. Here in AppFog, they don't even have idea about Zend Framework, so that's why we don't have it. We have to do this manually. And how we are gonna do that? We just have to add Zend Framework to vendor folder, and we are gonna do it in vendor folder subfolder Zend Framework 2 library Zend. But before to do that, we of course have to download Zend, and the proper place is zend.com. Let me go to framework just to save a little bit time. Download now. Of course it requires registration, Zend Framework and Zend Server. We don't need that. Zend Framework full package, minimal package. Download the minimal package from Zend CDN. Contains only the components in the Zend Framework standard library. Requires registration. Yeah, probably this is the best for us. I'm playing right now with Zend 2.2.0 release candidate. But as you can see, as a stable version, they offer this one. Zend Framework 2.1 full recommended, minimal 2.79. Learn more. How come the minimal is smaller than full? Okay, let me download the full one. Okay, I have to log in, of course. I hope I remember my password. No, I don't. Okay, so let me type my password again. On my students I show it how to add into PHP to index PHP file one statement which show in folder. This is what I'm gonna do now. Ooh, I have downloaded so many times. Let me see the content. All I need is the library. So let me think a little bit how will be the best to do it. So I'm gonna create a Zend Framework 2 folder, vendors Zend Framework 2, and library is already there. So I'm gonna compress library. and I'm gonna upload only the library. We don't need bin resources, we don't need as well. So I'm gonna compress zip at only library, create the folder ZF2, upload, and unzip. And after that, hopefully, it's gonna work. Let's see that. So in the mind map, actually, I follow folder uh, the folder structure: vendor, Zend Framework 2, library, Zend. Okay, that's done. Here we go. We have Zend here. Let me close that. Zip only this library folder in with zip and upload it to Codenvy. It's gonna be uploaded and very conveniently unzipped. Okay, let me do that. Vendor, new. Maybe you wonder, how did I know that this is the folder? Just follow the autoload and you'll see what I mean. Go to index.php in the public folder. After that, you'll see that there is a ini autoload, and you'll see the content of this file. So now file, upload zipped folder, browse. On the desktop, it's called library. Okay, override the items with existing names, upload. Okay, it's not that big. Let's see if that works. Okay, two simple, easy steps to get your Zend Framework 2 application up and running on AppFog using Codenvy. First, change the htaccess files. Second, upload the library itself, because AppFog doesn't have Zend Framework 2 library. Of course, there is another place you can put it. If you use Composer, you'll see that in Vendor you'll have Zend Framework. There is another way, as I said, but this is the way I'm using it right now. I'm just showing you what you have to do in order to get your application up and running on AppFog. So Zend Framework 2, we are refreshing and waiting now. Let's see if under ZF2 or ZF2 we will have now library, and inside we should have Zend Framework 2 with all the components. Zend is a component library. Okay, so that's it. Now project pass AppFog, our second update. We're pushing right now the library itself to AppFog, and let's see what happens. Eventually it's gonna work if there are no errors, and after that I'm gonna show you how we will run one MySQL server on the AppFog platform and how we will control this server. Okay, this is gonna be done through phpMyAdmin. I will go just ahead of myself and just reveal the secret that actually you can do it two different ways. One is using VPN, virtual private network, and tunneling to connect to your MySQL instance running on AppFog, actually in the Amazon Web Services, because this is the infrastructure they use. And another one is just to install as an ordinary application phpMyAdmin, connect to the server, and manage from there. The second approach is the one which we will be taking. And also I'm going to try something else. This something else will be, instead of creating an application in Codenvy and after that pulling from GitHub the repository, I just will clone the repository and after that change the preferences of the project in order to make it run on AppFog. Okay, let's see if the magic is done. Yeah, okay, great. Notice now With two simple steps, we have our application running on AppFog. htaccess files and uploading Zend Framework 2 component library. Okay, let's see if it's exactly the same as on our development server in PHP Cloud. Probably I have been kicked out. Okay, see, there is no absolute difference. There is no any difference, except the fact that here we're running newer framework. See what says on the AppFog. I just uploaded Zend Framework 2.1.5. On the PHP Cloud, they still have their old framework 2.0.0. They haven't updated yet, so we are ahead of our friends in PHP Cloud. Okay, cool. So now our two servers, our development server and our deployment server, so-called deployment server, are in sync. As I said, I'm using AppFog not only as a deployment server. During the development, I'm using as a development server when I'm in the cloud, because it gets tedious just to do add, commit, push always to PHP Cloud, but it's also possible. It's one workflow. Okay, so let's make aware our PHP Cloud about the changes. Actually, let's put all the changes to the GitHub. First to Zend and after that to GitHub. Notice something. Only this htaccess in the root will be pushed, will be added to the repository. The htaccess, which is in the public folder, will be ignored because it's included in the gitignore file. So this htaccess file you won't find anywhere. You can find it in my mind map, or you can type it yourself. The best is just to go to the mind map. Also, Zend Framework 2 also will be ignored. Let's look at in vendor in the gitignore. Wow. Composer, gitignore composer, autoload. Okay. So if I want to ignore it, I have to add here Zend Framework 2, but I haven't done it. So the entire framework actually is gonna be pushed right now, or not yet actually. Let me see. Zend Framework. I want to ignore it, so I'm gonna put it here, Zend Framework 2, and I'm gonna save it. So let's see now if Zend Framework 2 will be ignored and not pushed to Git. Let me check again. Gitignore ZF2 or ZF2. Okay, let's see what happens. As I said, right now I don't want to push Zend Framework 2 to Git, but if I have to, I will. So let's check if Git add, that's the magic, add all changes in the repository to index, update, do not allow. Okay, so let's see now what is gonna happen. Add. Of course, I made a mistake. First I had to check with git status. Hopefully that works, and the Zend Framework 2 will be ignored, successfully added to index. Let me see status now. On branch master, changes vendor modified, gitignore, modified htaccess. Changes to be committed. As you can see, they have been ignored. Thank you, God. In vendor, gitignore has been changed, but as you can see, Zend Framework 2 is not added. and we see only htaccess in the root, which needs to be pushed to the git. Okay, so far so good. So let's say we will gonna commit now, and we will say preparing, not preparing, but changing the project to make it run on AppFog, and we'll say commit. Only htaccess gets committed. Now we'll say git remote push to Zend, and we'll check, make sure that we didn't break anything and it's still running. Okay, so let's make sure it's still running and working. Yes, it works. Okay, let's try now pass AppFog. Yeah, it works. Perfect. Now, maybe you're already asking yourself, what about the MySQL? Actually, we didn't run our album application. Let me show you that. Remember this famous application, album? This is the tutorial application which we have done in this project as a test. It works here. Okay, title Story 1 off. Okay, I'm running out of ideas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At. Make sure that it works in our development server. Edit. That's backwards. 9, 8, 7, 6, blah blah. Edit. You see it has been done. Delete. Yes. As you can see, our album module in our application is happily living and working. What about the same module but on AppFog? As you can guess, we'll get errors. But let's try. I was thinking about cutting this lection on half, but probably I will go ahead and do it. Let me see how much time did I spend now, 38 minutes. So probably I will cut it. I will stop right now and continue further. Take a break. Okay, the application is working. What about the album? Wow, see? Connect error, SQL state, blah blah, unknown MySQL server, and so on and so forth. Of course, we don't have a MySQL server running on AppFog. Okay. Now, actually, let's continue. Vendor, public, gitignore. All these things which I have done are actually mentioned here, and you can see them. But I'm doing everything from scratch, and I know I'm doing everything from heart, as they say. So I'm not looking too much my mind map, but you can do that. First, you have to remove the file to Git. Those are the notes. After the removal, the ignore will take place. Note the things which I already told you. Now, okay. Let's prepare the local PHP file first, which also is ignored. and after that we'll see how it works. Okay, in the next movie I'm gonna show you how we will install MySQL Server and how we will manage this server. So thank you for your attention.